Okay, so let's at least explore these places. Even if we do get an anomaly here, I'm not necessarily sure we'd turn right around and do the mission immediately, because I have a certain place in particular that I feel like I'd like for us to go soon. We've not yet gone. But let's see. So we have, why don't we go Solveig next? Then we'll check out Talava after that. The floor is Talava. Looks quite small. We've got this planet here, which is Frivaldi. A hydrogen-helium gas giant, Frivaldi's refueling stations provide helium-3 for commercial spacecraft visiting the system. It has 9 known moons and many smaller bodies in its rings. Travel advisory. Recent attacks by pirates have targeted Frivaldi's refueling stations. Authorities list the perpetrators as at large. Travel is not recommended. We will scan it. It's poor, so, it's not like we want to get anything here anyway, and there's no anomalies, so half decent, actually surprisingly decent source of palladium for a poor planet, but of course, we're doing pretty well from a resource standpoint, so I don't think that should be an issue. A little surprised, I was gonna say, yeah, to see that we're only 33% done here, because that was just, there are 3 planets in here. Looks like there's a little moon here, as well as the planet. Let's start with the planet, then maybe go to the moon after that. We've Sortur, which is a small but dense desert planet close to its parent star. All but traces of its nitrogen carbon monoxide atmosphere have burned away, leaving it cooler than similar planets in other systems. Robo mining has proved lucrative, as it has developed significant deposits of beryllium and palladium. You say palladium? I mean, we have heard, yeah, so it is rich. No anomalies here, but we have heard people, or the descriptions there, say at times that, oh, this planet is rich on such and such resources. Usually, it's just a random element that is not actually one that we're allowed to collect in the game. That's a pretty sweet source right there. Getting nice palladium and then platinum as well. Very rarely does it actually say, this resource that you are allowed to collect is one that there's a lot of on this planet. But it does check out. It definitely does check out. We don't really need resources right now, because we went super aggressive early on with our scanning. So we probably will not proceed to scan there, but I'm curious about this moon.
Anomaly detected.
Yeah, because the fact that it's a moon that we can explore to begin with does suggest that perhaps there might be an anomaly here. As I was saying, we may not necessarily look to, if there is a mission that comes out of this, do it right off the bat, but it is something that at the very least in that case we would add to our list that we can come back to later. Let's see. Sotur's moon, Sinmara, has been used for many generations to monitor its parent star, Solveig. It has no atmosphere to interfere with solar observational equipment, which is critical at this juncture. The star recently showed signs of erupting prematurely into a red giant. In preparation for the day when this critical warning goes out, the extranet channel from Sinmara's research station is given top priority throughout the comm buoys in the system. Chances of such a signal being received over the sun's magnetic interference at that time is low, but relegating it to a lower channel proved politically untenable. So let's see. There is an anomaly here.
Catastrophic solar radiation exposure probable. Magnetic shielding failure detected. Catastrophic solar radiation exposure probable. Magnetic shielding
that whole thing they were talking about with when the sun is about to explode into a red giant, they try to send out a message, but people probably wouldn't reach it, wouldn't receive it. Kind of sounds like that's what they're trying to send out here.
Launching probe.
Also, did get some resources out of it as well. Looks like it was a decent spot for resources, so let's see. Anomaly detected. Planetary scans indicate that the Sinmara colony is vulnerable, actual colony, to its sun's hazardous solar flares. Malfunction detected in colony's magnetic shield. Shield must be reactivated to avoid exposing colony to unstable solar activity and potential annihilation. Yeah, so that's probably something we'd like to do at some point. Activate magnetic shield. So we will want to come back to that on a future occasion, but it's not what I'd like to do right now. I'd say, why don't we just explore Talava, and then there is another place that I'd like to prioritize over this for the moment, at least. I mean, despite the seemingly time-sensitive urgency based on that description there, I don't think there's actually any sort of timer on that. I hope there isn't. I mean, generally that is... I like to believe that generally that's the case with minor side quests like that, but I could be wrong, I suppose. Let's see, Talava's next. And as for this system, we have first
Anomaly detected.
an anomaly here as well. Okay, so both these systems here, chock full of anomalies. Let's see. So Titus, a desert whitish potassium salts, of whitish potassium salts and reddish iron oxides. Titus is far enough away from its parent star to have a tolerable surface temperature. I mean, if it's far away, I mean, that suggests that this star must be super powerful. Though it has only a trace atmosphere of carbon dioxide and oxygen, it is still hospitable enough for criminals in the terminus systems to use it as a staging base. Hurrying patrols sometimes fly through the area, looking to preempt jailbreak attempts on Matrum's prisons. Travel advisory: unregistered starships have been spotted in the vicinity of Titus. Civilian travel is not recommended. It's minus 1 degree Celsius, that's not too bad. As they were saying, I mean, surface gravity is more or less Earth gravity. The trace atmospheric pressure is probably a problem. You know, without a spacesuit, your body would explode. But other than that, seems pretty reasonable. Let's scan. See if we can find that anomaly. It is also a rich planet. What?
There's a piece of crap mech on this planet's surface. If you think you can get it to work, you're freaking welcome to it.
A mech that is broken? And we are welcome to take? Huh? Surface scans detect one Yammer heavy mech signature matching an unknown, possibly pirate, registration. Mech appears to be disabled, but broadcasting a looping message. Message does not appear to be a distress signal. Resource scans indicate large quantities of mineral resources available, but obscured behind walls of dense stone. Huh. Okay, I mean, should be another mission added to our list again. One that I think on a future occasion we'll definitely make a point of doing. Investigate the mech signal. Does give me vibes that is a trap. I don't remember that mission specifically, but again, it's something that at least at some point we'll definitely make a point of doing, just perhaps not right now. Then we have Matrum, a small hot rock with few resources. Matrum is used by the Turian Armed Forces for its maximum security prison and interrogation centers. The temperatures are high enough to prevent any escape without an environmental suit, but low enough that construction of additional buildings will not be hindered. Over 500,000 prisoners are detained on Matrum. That's a lot. Only a handful of which have ever managed to even a temporary escape. A small supply economy and prefab habitats support the prison staff, who usually work only for 2-year tours of duty before they are rotated out to less stressful positions. At 74 degrees Celsius, that is pretty steamy. Still little to no atmosphere. I mean, let's scan it. Did it say this one had poor resources and yet it's rich? I'm a little bit surprised about that. I mean, again, we don't really need the resources, so this is mostly just out of curiosity. It does have a decent amount of iridium. And, I mean, yeah, it's just iridium, it seems. Oh, well, whoa. Second look like that was, I mean, it's not quite scale-breaking, but it's a decent source of iridium. Alright, so that's that. Then, we have Cautious. Approach this planet with caution. Home to the spectacular Infinity Caldera. That sounds pretty freaking sweet. Cautious is a young planet. It sounds like, yes, you do need to be cautious on Cautious. It's a young planet with extreme tectonic and volcanic activity. With 9 supervolcanoes that can throw out at least 1,000 cubic kilometers of dense rock equivalents each. Cautious, we're going with Cautious. Cautious's activity has put its atmosphere in a state of shroud. It will likely suffer from global dimming for at least the next 10 years. Though much of the surface is no more dangerous than many other inner ring planets, its extreme tectonic activity has given Cautious a bad reputation and discouraged all resource exploitation. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like the kind of place where I was expecting this to be rich. I was gonna say, it sounded like the kind of place where it has a bunch of resources, just nobody can get to them because it's dangerous. So again, just out of curiosity, quick look through here. Definitely not as good as the other planets we saw previously. It's actually a pretty solid source of palladium. But other than that, nothing too crazy there. Alright, then last but not least, this right here is a Terrace, a large rock planet orbiting an F-class star. A Terrace is pummeled by radiation, heavy gravity, and tectonic activity. Its crust is mostly silicates and of little value. travel is not advised. It is remarkably unremarkable, but it is also 549 degrees Celsius, so you would fry if you tried going here. No anomalies. Nothing particularly special here. You know, again, like half-decent source of palladium, although I think we still saw better sources elsewhere in the system, so, you know, nothing too special there. That's all the lava system. And I think now we will, in fact, look to head back to our mass relay, because, as I was saying, I had a different place in mind in terms of where we'd like to go next. So, on a future occasion, we will definitely make a point of heading back there to complete those missions, assuming that they aren't actually time-sensitive. I hope they aren't, at least. First one we encountered sounded like there's a, perhaps, slim but non-zero chance that could be the case. Refuel here real quick. But otherwise, I have a plan for us to go to a place that we have technically talked about a little bit, but let's see, after having completed the collector ship mission, do we have new areas that are now available to us? We certainly have the spots for the loyalty missions that we've not yet been to. Also, yeah, like saving a crashing ship. No, that's a rival, right? I think we've established. I was gonna say, like, that sounds like another time-sensitive thing, right? But alas, we've waited this long, and yet it's still available. So, yeah, Far Rim, that was Tali's loyalty mission, or rather, Tali's recruitment mission, so we've been there. In some cases, we may even find that places that we've been to already, like the Hades Nexus, may have new systems that become available to us later on. That might be why that's 92%. Nothing there. Rosetta Nebula, obviously, we already have seen Jacob's loyalty mission, so that's not brand new to us. Helping Tali, that's relatively new, but of course we did already have it. Oh, technically, we should go to the Shadowbroker base to load back up on some stuffs there. Shrike Abyssal. 0% explored there. Not sure if we know of any missions that are supposed to take us there based on how, well, there's nothing listed in that spot there. Then Minos Wasteland, also a place with 0%, but no obvious missions there that we know about, so those are other places that could be interesting to explore soon. But before we get distracted, let's head back over to the Shadowbroker base, check in on our investments, pick up our package with our goodies, some resources there. It is, of course, a little bit of a trek to actually get there. So it's technically not free if you consider that it does cost some fuel to get there. Fuel which is not free. But, let's head back to Hogalogs real quick. Check it out. Just a brief visit. Okay. Let's see. So we have, where'd you go? Our investments. So let's see. I think we got to the point where we were looking at potentially not wanting to go any further on several, possibly even all of them at this stage. Like Bureaucracy and Action, I think we want to avoid this. Blue listed, I think we want to avoid as well. Mutually assured income, I think we want to avoid as well. And we do have the mission report from False Prophets ready, so let's check that out. Success. Pocket a slice of the credits raised at this week's extranet fundraising telethon. So there we go, we get 6,000 credits. So yeah, that definitely pays for the cost of the fuel that brought us here. I mean, cost of fuel was several orders of magnitude less than that. And then we just have these three remaining, and I think those are the three we were saying we don't really want. So I think for that reason, we're basically done with investment opportunities. We do, of course, still have the ability to pick up the delivery pickup after every mission. This time, it's 2,500 platinum. I mean, if that's the only reason why we're coming back here from here on out, may not necessarily be worth spending the fuel to go here, because, as we've said previously, we were quite aggressive early on with our resource gathering, their planet scanning, so, you know, if we're paying credits or buying fuel with credits in order to get more resources that we don't need, then that's basically just throwing away money. Not a huge amount of money, but throwing away money. In terms of our dossiers, we've read most of these. There were at least a few that we passed on previously. I don't know if we've yet read Tali's. Did we do Kasumi's? We may not have. Grunts we certainly have not, because we obviously just got Grunts. Cerberus we did. Captain Bailey we've not. Arya I don't think we have. Captain Anderson we definitely have not. Hackett we have not. I think we did the Shadowbroker. Let's maybe just... we'll chip away at the list a bit here. Let's see if we read Tali's. I don't think we did. So, of course, she's a mechanic and engineer. Typical Quarian investment in species future instead of personal advancement. Father's work useful in widening tensions between Geth and Quarian races. Useful in widening tensions. The Shadowbroker apparently looking to exacerbate the Quarian-Geth conflict for whatever reason. We read this? Oh no, we did read this. I do remember this. We saw the history of messages that Tali sent when she was communicating with the Shadowbroker at the beginning of Mass Effect 1, or really before Mass Effect 1, which is very cool to connect those dots. But yeah, we have definitely seen that then. Kasumi's, though? We seen this? Poetry logs? Anonymous poem logs. Haiku by Kasumi. Breathless, glinting skin. Muscles working in rhythm. Cloaked desire. Watches. Looking at me now. His indifference eyes smile. I am a puddle. Beautiful and good. Punishing with his kindness. Jacob is perfect. Ooh, Kasumi. Except he really isn't. Yeah. See, he's possibly the single dullest member of our team in all. Have we seen this in all? Have we? I feel like there's a non-zero chance we've read this already. Suppose it's quick enough, even if we have, might as well. So, correspondence between Kasumi and Mothetu Hellery, Blue Suns Omega. I understand from my sources that you are looking to expand your collection of antiquities. These are the items I currently have in inventory. I was originally commissioned to obtain them, but when payment was not forthcoming, they became mine. Prices on all items are open to negotiation. In your case, I may prefer favors over credits. Please use this same secure channel to respond. The same secure channel that apparently the Shadowbroker had access to. Inventory: domed ceremonial headdress, Batarian. Da Vinci Mona Lisa. Yeah, I feel like I remember we had seen that. Complete works of esteemed poet Zesso Thal Vos Ranok, first folio edition, Quarian. The Ko-I-Nor diamond, loose, human. It's probably a real thing that I should know about, but it's probably, well, it's a big, famous diamond, I guess. Probably exists, IRL. But Turian Battle Spike, approximately 3,000 years old, origin unknown, believed to be one of two, but missing its pair. That's Kasumi. Obviously, we've not yet done anything on Grunt, so it's a little bit weird reading up on him when we've done 0 missions with him, and, you know, we might get some juicy details about him when we don't really have the context to, well, make sense out of it. So maybe we do wait for that, and instead focus on Captain Bailey and Captain Anderson here. So Captain Bailey is, of course, the captain that we met on the Citadel when we were first trying to get in. CSEC captain, survivor of Reaper attack on Citadel, prefers dealing with Zakara Ward's criminal elements off the record. Ample blackmail material. Oh. Okay. So business correspondence from Bailey to Zakara Ward officer mailing list. New recruit basics.
Another joins your ranks.
And Core, thanks for the sub. How's it going, Core? Hope you're doing all right. You excited for the tournament coming up this weekend? Hope so. Let's see. Listen up. I'm sending this out because too many of our new recruits don't get that being part of CSEC on the Citadel isn't like security on a garden planet. I want you to drill the following into their heads until they're sick of your voice. 1. Learn your district. Contacts don't make themselves. There's a mandatory minimum of 20 hours on foot patrol during your work week. No exceptions. Nice, nice. Looking forward to it later this week. See, update your translators. Citadel needs more than 9 million tourists a week, or gets more than 9 million tourists a week. You need to understand whether that drunk from Omega's enjoying the nightlife or telling his buddies to flank you. Yeah, that's kind of important, I suppose. Eyes are on us. Everyone from the council to your bus driver is watching the new CSEC. Yak all you want in the locker room, but remember, a mistaken uniform can get plastered over the whole galaxy's news network. That's it for now. Come to me with any problem cases you think we need to lean on or boot out. Bailey. Alright. So, what he's teaching the new recruits about. Incoming correspondence lists. List of materials read by Citadel CSEC Officer Captain Bailey. Summary of the previous day's council meeting. It's got inside details on the council meetings. Citadel Newsnet, from front page stories, sports, arts, and entertainment. Council members reading up on the biggest of news. Email from his ex-wife regarding, or I guess that's him, but email from his ex-wife regarding canceled visit to the Citadel. Oh. That's, I guess that's kind of interesting. VIP Looters, Dark Side of the Colonies, a Citadel Newsnet article of the day by Erland Golta. Report from Detective Nepatu Casa on a murder suspect Rose Jones. Note, Jones is innocent. See footage from camera 41-F5JA-YF. And, well, there you have it. I mean, the Shadow Broker had more information than CSEC about this crime that CSEC was trying to investigate. That's pretty cool. Department of Citadel Rapid Transport Emergency News Bulletin regarding cancellation of service from Zakara Ward to Tyseri Ward. I don't remember if we know anything about the Tyseri Ward. If that's an Easter egg or a reference to anything else, it could be. Request for backup from Captain Keitham of Tyseri Ward. A note from Tyseri Ward, Intendant Sonu Baresh, expressing sorrow regarding loss of officers Lambart Yungira and Bretnus Samalda to gunmen on Tyseri Ward. Sounds like things are not going well over there. A request from Captain Keitham to temporarily transfer 2 CSEC officers from the Citadel's Zakara Ward to Tyseri Ward. Invitation from Captain Keitham to meet at the usual place, O'Hara's Bar and Grill, level 16, Zakara Ward, northwest corner booth. Shadowbroker's like, yeah, I know where your secret spot is. Email from ex-wife regarding gang member shootout, Bailey's health. Huh. So, I mean, a character that we don't really know all that much about, but a little bit more detail about what his life is like as a cop. Why don't we do maybe just one more and then we'll carry on here? Let's do Arya. De facto leader of Omega, 3 centuries of commando experience, aloof, paranoid, excellent organizational and management skills. Let's see, so audio transmission transcript, recording taken on Omega Afterlife Nightclub, private room, at 4 a.m. Door opens and closes. Enrix. What the? Alice Enrix? Who the hell are... Hey! Don't bother. Those shackles don't have a release catch. Okay, so sounds like Arya is capturing this dude. You mistake me for one of your clients or something, lady? Let me out. This was very good. The Turian's been in Afterlife for a week. Usually, I spot them earlier. Spot what? I know you're listening through that speaker hidden in Enrix's collar. I bet Enrix doesn't even know who he's really spying for, does he, Shadow Broker? Oh, so interestingly enough, Arya got in on some of the Shadow Broker's secret agents here, which is something that, as we've seen in other details we've learned from the Shadow Broker dossiers, that usually people do not know where the Shadow Broker is getting the information from, but Arya caught on. Shadow what? I don't know any... Wait, what are you doing? Era, not Arya, Era. You don't play favorites, Broker. I admire that. But what I don't like is how you think anything twitches a muscle on Omega without me knowing it. My face! Feel free to waste as many lives as you want, sending your agents down to my world. Okay, listen, I'm working for a guy, but it's not what you think. It's not... Blah! Door opens and closes, recording ends. Note, Kalis Enrix's death has not yet compromised our other agent placed in the Afterlife nightclub. So Shadowbroker's like, we're fine. Sure, we lost one of our dudes, but we got another one. Don't worry about it. Alright, so that's the first one here. Then we have Afterlife Planning Session Correspondence from Arya to Cherkas Flynn, Events Coordinator. You just gotta keep interesting things happening at the bar, right? Topic is Afterlife Entertainment. Flynn, here's what I want to set up for next month. Sinya sisters, they're good, but I don't want them performing so close to the Becca burlesque act when it comes back from the mining colonies. String out the flesh shows. Oh, okay. Fight pit. Too many Fortia. No one's going to pay to see those little goblins eat each other when they do it on the street for free. Get me some Krogans and enough humans to keep them busy for an hour. That singer in tomorrow's band is from Eclipse. I'm surprised you didn't spot it. Bring him to me at after last call. I think we can only guess what Arya's going to do to that person. And our jugglers, that'd be cool. Before you sent me the vid, I thought you were joking. Book them. I could use a laugh. Not often we see Arya laugh. We should consider making the casino ship a VIP-only event. Hand out passes to people who need killing, and let them do it for me. There was more blood than credits on the table after the shootout from last week's jackpot. Ooh, I mean... Shrewd business. Shrewd business in that case. Alright. I think... Obviously, there's at least a couple more of those dossiers we've not yet read, but in the interest of not, reading an essay's worth of content there, let's carry on. We'll get back to that on a later occasion. And we picked up stuff we wanted to pick up here. So, what I'd like to do is head back out. That was disorienting. Go to our mass relay.
Fuel at 1/2 capacity.
And switch to a different area. An area that, as I was starting to say, we've talked about, but not yet been to. No, it has not been to. That wasn't placed in Mass Effect 1. In fact, it might even exist in Mass Effect 2 as well. That is the Krogan DMZ Tuchanka. Of course, the homeworld of the Krogan, place that we've heard about many times before, but never gotten the chance to visit. And, well, I'm very intrigued. Let's check it out. Alright, let's see. Here we are. We are in Aralok, which is, in fact, the system that has Tuchanka, which is where Morden's loyalty mission is. So that is potentially of interest to us. Before we do this stuff, though, let's take a look at the other planets in the system. It does seem to be quite big. Where is this one that's on the outermost orbit? Did I just go? Oh, or is it the... Oh, it's the mass relay. That's what it is. That's why I couldn't find a planet there. That means this is what we're really looking for, and we'll work our way in from here. So first we have Vol. Vol is a hydrogen-helium gas giant named for an ancient Krogan deity that stood watch for enemies of his pantheon. Gas giants' moons are named after some of Vol's myriad eyes and ears. The only reason to visit the Vol system is scientific curiosity, which the Krogan lack. Okay. I mean, we'll take a look. It's got moderate resources, so, you'll see the occasional spike here and there, but no anomalies, so not any real reason for us to do anything here, as the game might have suggested. Then next on the list, let's see, based on how we did 16%, that would appear as though there are 6 planets / other things of interest in here. We have Rom. The smaller of Arlok's hydrogen-helium gas giants maintains a small helium-3 recovery infrastructure. Although the depth of Rom's gravity well makes it inefficient to export, visitors to the Arlok system often top off their fuel tanks at Rom's stations. Council Demilitarization Enforcement Mission, CDEM, maintains a token garrison to monitor any potential sale of fuel to known subversives and terrorists. Population is just 1,000, and the garrison is 20. So 4 here, definitely not going to see much of any. I mean, that's like more than expected to see from Poor Planet, but no anomalies, so definitely not anything we're looking to do here at the moment. Then, let's see, saying how there's likely 6 planets in here we want to visit, so we've done, what, done 2, not going to be 3, 4, 5, and 6, yeah, so I don't think there's going to be anything in this asteroid belt. So we will, of course, finish on Tuchanka, but maybe we go to the other planets first, because we know we can land on Tuchanka, whereas the other one's less likely. We have Krubon. Krubon is a tidally locked Venetian hothouse, its surface perpetually obscured by clouds of sulfur and carbon dioxides. The first group of Krogan brought into orbit by the Solarian uplift teams requested a trip to Kruben. The Solarians at first thought that the Krogan were confused about the nature of Kruben's environment. The planet is named for a Krogan mythological paradise in which honorable warriors feast on the internal organs of their enemies. Oh, fantastic. In fact, Krogan astronomers had correctly deduced the nature of Kruben in the years before the global Holocaust. In the 2 millennia since, Kruben had come to be thought of as an ideal test of one's toughness. Every year, a few Krogan attempt to land on Kruben and exit their ships naked in an attempt to prove their Kroganhood. The planet's surface is littered with the crushed, corroded remains of their ships. Only one, Shaft Norda, is known to have returned from the surface alive, albeit with most of his bones crushed and all 4 of his lungs damaged by sulfuric acid. Yes, 4. Krogan have duplicate sets of many organs. Norda recovered from this trial the adulation of his people. Until he died in 1943, he could lie with any fertile female he wished. Yeah, that's the thing is, so many people tried and failed that the one person who succeeded, you know, had a bit of success with the ladies. And, whoa! Yeah, it's 728 degrees Celsius, so that's pretty freaking hot. It is, 0.7 Gs for gravity. That's not bad. That's pretty light, but the 47.3 atmospheric pressures, that's crazy as well. Then, it is a rich planet, so in theory, it's got some pretty huge sources of some stuff, like namely platinum. That's pretty nice. But as we've said before, I will say again, doing pretty well on resources. Not even sure that we need the huge sources of stuffs. But I am curious to see how big it gets. Usually I thought when there are planets like this, yes, that's scale breaking. Usually when there are planets like this that have this distinct area with a different color to it, that's usually the place where you want to make a point of looking for resources or launch probes to get resources. As we're seeing here, yes, that is the place of a humongous palladium deposit and potentially more above and beyond that. One doesn't really compare, but that might be a different one. Anyways, we don't need it, but it is interesting to note. Then we've got this one here, which is Canaan. One of Canaan's hemispheres contains an impact crater 700 kilometers in diameter. Dubbed the Rencat Basin, it was mined for light metals in the interbellum between the Rachni War and Krogan rebellions. And any obvious resource concentrations have long since been stripped, so presumably that means it is, might have once upon a time been a rich planet, but alas, it is no more. And that is kind of funny how the label for Canaan ends up in the star. But then we do still have one other planet hiding here somewhere, on an angle which it quite literally looks like it's inside the star. Durak is a small heat-blasted rock lost in the blinding glare of the star Aralak. It occasionally traps a trace atmosphere of gases blown in on Aralak's powerful solar wind, which inevitably blows the gases back out again. Planetoid has a few valuable loads of heavy metals, which were sporadically mined by the Krogan at the height of their power. In the closing years of the rebellions, 5 clans working the planetoid fell to fighting over a particularly rich deposit of iridium. It does make you wonder if we might actually see significant deposits of iridium here. All 5 clan warlords agreed to a meeting at a neutral location, to negotiate a truce. Unfortunately, all 5 arrived planning to betray their fellows, as Krogans do, While the leaders and their seconds met, all their bases were destroyed by simultaneous hypervelocity cannon strikes. We're talking about Krogan here. Left with only the food, water, and air in their hard suits, and with no way to call for rescue, the warlords apparently fought each other to the death. The survivors of the 5 Durak clans on Tuchanka still argue about which clan's warlord was the last one standing. Oh, that is, it's interesting. It is interesting. It is rich as well, and oh boy. I mean, that's pretty sweet on the palladium. Oh, was it iridium they were saying? Was supposed to be the resource that it had the most of? Or at least that it had people mining it for? I mean, that's a pretty solid source of iridium. Now, this is a pretty sweet planet for launching probes. Again, we don't really need to, but if we did, this would definitely be a good place to do it. Alright, so that gets us at 83%. I believe that means last thing we have here is Tuchanka, unless Tuchanka counts as having already been explored. In which case, this won't get us to 100. Maybe there is something in the asteroid belt, but anyways. Tuchanka, scarred by the bombardment craters, radioactive rubble, choking ash, salt flats, and alkaline seas, Tuchanka can barely support life. Thousands of years ago, life grew in fierce abundance under the F-class star Aralok, a Reich clan word meaning Eye of Wrath. Tree analogs grew in thick jungles, their roots growing out of shallow, silty seas. Life fed upon life in an evolutionary crucible. This world died in nuclear firestorms after the Krogan split the atom. A little ice age of nuclear winter killed off much of the remaining plant life. So yes, the Krogan discovered how to use some extremely powerful weapons, and Krogan being Krogan, proceeded to use them on each other and cause a nuclear winter. Congratulations. In recent centuries, many Krogan have returned to their homeworld. Reduced albedo has caused global temperatures to rise. In order to maintain livable temperatures, a vast shroud was assembled at the L1 Lagrange point. It is maintained by the Council Demilitarization Enforcement Mission, CDEM, which is based on orbiting battle stations. CDEM Advisory. Visitors to Tuchanka land at their own risk. CDEM will not attempt to extract citizens threatened by clan warfare. Travel Advisory. The ecology of Tuchanka is deadly. Nearly every native species engages in some predatory behavior. Even the remaining vegetation is carnivorous. Travel beyond guarded areas is strongly discouraged. So, yeah, you know, it's kind of dangerous in the Krogan homeworld, but, alas, it's the world that molded them into the Krogan that we now know and love. Population of 2.1 billion, of course, have to imagine back when Krogan were in their heyday was probably significantly more than that. But, capital is currently Erdnot since 2183, which was, very, very recently. I think the current year is either 2184 or 2185. So that's super recent, that the capital became Erdnot, which you may recognize that name. CDM garrison also has 2,400 in orbital battle stations. So, alright, they say it's a nasty place to be. It has 1.1 Earth atmospheres of pressure. That's not that unreasonable. It is 72 degrees Celsius, which is a lot. It is 36 degrees in shrouded areas. That's much more manageable. Understandable how they would deliberately make said shroud. And the gravity is a little bit stronger than it would be on Earth, but it's not that outlandish. Let's just see. That does get us to 100, so that suggests that, yeah, this asteroid belt is likely empty. So, in that case, let's land. Alright, and in terms of who we'd like to bring here, so the mission that we are currently looking to do on Tuchanka is Morden's loyalty mission. So, in case you couldn't tell, that's one of the reasons why we're headed here, but also just want to give the chance to check out Tuchanka. So, Morden, yes, and then Grunt, I think could be fun, because, well, Grunt is, of course, a Krogan. One that was tank bred outside of Tuchanka, so, has never actually been there, seeing as how he technically came to life, you know, not long ago. So in terms of our squad here, we have gotten enough skill points that we could either go up to Pole 3 or Reeve 3, and that is a difficult choice to make. Pull 3 gives us an additional 2 seconds on the pull. Reeve 3 gives us an additional half second on the reeve duration, which doesn't sound like much. It isn't a huge upgrade, but remember that it does increase the total amount of damage. You know, what would be all the way up to 160 in this case. And also, against enemies that have layers of protection, that damage all gets applied immediately. So it does mean it's at least against, say, like, armored enemies or enemies with barriers, which is the type of enemies you're going to generally want to use Reeve on. It is dealing an immediate 160 damage and, you know, giving you a bunch of buffs to increase your defenses, so it's not bad. And also those defensive buffs are based on how much damage we deal, so all the more reason to improve Reeve that way. So that's certainly an option. It's either that or it's the additional 2 seconds. I feel like we go with the Reeve. We do that. Well, then the other thing we were saying was, like, maybe even resetting our squad incendiary ammo, because we look at Grunt, which this is, of course, our first time ever having used him. So we got plenty of points to work with here. We were talking about it a little bit before, after having activated him, but we have Concussive Shot, which is a decent crowd control ability for low investment, but probably not something you're going to want to put too many points in. You do need to spend a couple of points in it before you can unlock incendiary ammo, and that is, of course, the one of the abilities that, at least in theory, could be interesting to pursue, because we do have the possibility of having him supply squad incendiary ammo and then take it off Shepard and focus on going all in on Reeve or all in on Pull, which could be preferable. So at least short term, it doesn't really help us at all, but why don't we at least get the second pointing concussive shot to unlock it? And then I suppose that means, why not go all out on Krogan Berserker for now? This is his passive. And you may notice this. We're looking at health. He has 300 health and 420 armor, which is more than other squad mates. Shepard does have some bonuses that apply specifically to him. So that is why Shepard does still have more health. Does not have more barriers, though. So yeah, in theory, Grunts can become the tankiest of squad members, especially because, well, this is pre-doing any of his passive abilities, and as you're seeing here, 20% additional health, 30%, 40% weapon damage, and health regeneration being the other things that he gets. So health regeneration, again, making him just incredibly tanky. So I think we invest in those points there, and then once we go all the way up, we can go either Krogan Pure Blood. Grunt's mastery of his Blood Rage increases his already fantastic regeneration rate, letting him survive wounds that would kill other Krogan. So, let's see, the health regeneration goes up to 55, whereas in this case, Krogan Warlord, Grunt can go Berserk without losing his lethal focus, increasing his weapon damage. So that means, weapon damage goes from 15% to 25%. So it's a question of 10% extra weapon damage versus 15 additional health regeneration per second. And as I was saying, Grunt's, his thing is that he's the tank. He's really good at that. And even on harder difficulties, at times he can be, a good person to lead the attack. And if somebody's going to get walloped by collectors shooting laser beams at our face, then we'd kind of like for that to be Grunts, not us. So Krogan Pureblood would help with that. I don't recall as to the extent to which needing the additional health regeneration is needed. Is he fine already with his 40 life regenerated per second, or is that extra 15 going to be a big boost? Let's see, so it's a little over a 30% boost to health regeneration, right? Whereas this is, it's also a pretty sizable chunk. It's 10 additional, but I'm saying a percentage increase relative to what it would otherwise be. That makes no sense. You know what I mean. I think when it comes to bringing Grunt, we're focusing on using him as a tank, so why not embrace the tank? And I don't think we want to spend additional points on concussive shots, because, I mean, it does increase the force, it does increase the damage a little bit, but really we're just looking to do this to knock enemies down that are looking threatening and or knock them off ledges so that they die. But you don't really need to have that fully upgraded to do that. So I think we'll leave incendiary ammo off for now, because again, you know, I mean, we could do the individual Inferno ammo. An explosive charge spreads the ammunition's payload on impact, potentially igniting the target and all nearby enemies. Gives you some AoE on the on just shots, you know, any bullets you're firing, which is nice for sure. That is one other way we could potentially differentiate between Grunt's ammo ability and Shepard's ammo ability, but it's still a little bit duplicative, because, you know, even if we left this at a 0, he's still getting the squad ammo, which is a fair bit of damage from that. So, you know, the incremental improvements from, rather than having squad incendiary ammo, having the Inferno ammo, not amazing. We just wait. We just wait until maybe once we get Grunt's loyalty mission done, then we consider fortification. So that's Grunt. Then for Morden, we have 3 points, so we could invest further into Cryoblast. Otherwise, we're waiting for Neural Shock, which we will presumably unlock after completing his loyalty mission. Not a huge fan of the Neural Shock, though, so I think we go with Cryoblast here. Let's see, and it will increase the freeze duration by a second. This ability does not deal any damage, but it does incapacitate our opponents, so we'll take it. And I think that's about it there. In terms of weapons, I think we're probably still fine, unless, do we want to change our heavy weapon? I mean, the Avalanche, we didn't need to use it at all, and the Collector base was a little bit surprised we didn't need to resort to that. But it is nice and versatile. We might stick with it here. And then Grunt is a shotgun, and assault rifle. Sorry, I saw that heavy for a second. I was like, what? So it can be a heavy pistol? That makes no sense. No, this is an assault rifle. Yeah, he's a soldier. So, you know, weapon damage is one of his key things, although as I was saying, it's really survivability that differentiates him from our other teammates. So, I think we'll do the Vindicator. And we did do the upgrade that gives him the Claymore. As I was saying, I am a big fan of the Geth Plasma Shotgun, certainly for us. That's the reason why I did not take the Claymore when we were at the Geth ship. Or, not Geth ship, the Collector ship. But, it's potentially worth giving him the Claymore. We could try it out. I mean, obviously we invested in it, so we might as well try.